Sup y'all, it's Hex, Team Portuguese Regret. Alright, I'm gonna show you my Kinka-Piper deck today. It gives me the mad pluses, as the fellas downtown say. I got it fanned out here for you because I'm not gonna waste your time. You can just take a look if you want. Explain some of the basic technology that goes into this well-oiled machine. Alright, we'll start up here. I got 3 Mystic Piper in here. This guy, you tribute him. You draw 1 card, possibly 2. It's awesome. Gets you a light in the graveyard for the Chaos Engine. Kinka-Byo brings him back and brings back a ton of these other motherfuckers, which is really nice. So you can get even more pluses off of that. You catch your opponent in the Kinka-Piper loop. Oh my god, you get cards all day and they'll hate you. 3 Fader is good for defense, and if you play it right and if you XYZ with it, you can sometimes get him in your graveyard for the Chaos. 3 Veiler, just to piss your opponent off. I mean, you Veiler their Trish, you Veiler their anything, it gets you pissed off. 3 Caius, which I really hate when people Veiler that on me. It really helps me take care of a lot of cards, I mean, that would not be able to be taken care of any other way by this deck. 3 Chaos Sorcerer, which lets me get rid of monsters all day, not to mention sometimes you can swing with him, but not very often it seems. 2 DD Crow, with a lot of the shit that activates in the graveyard these days, having 2 in there plus the level 1 really works well with the Mystic Piper engine. 2 Treeborn Frog, obvious, you know, you just bring him back over and over again, good for Caius, good for XYZ, plus it really doesn't hurt to draw him Mystic Piper because you can just dump him out there. 1 Gores, I don't think Gores is a very pro card, I don't like Gores very much. I think that taking a hit is, you know, when you can avoid taking a hit is the best, but, you know, his level 7 token really does get me into a lot of stuff, as well as if I really need to synchro with him. 1 BLS, which that's the nice one. That's the shiny IOC one. Don't pretend you don't like that. Better than your cheap ass gold rare, which always end up on the bottom of the deck. Yeah, I'm just mad dogging a commander right now. Then Symphonic Warrior Bases, I've thrown him in recently. I only run 1 of him. His effect is pretty decent. Use it with Treeborn, I can get into Duloran, up his level by as many cards as in your hand, and plus when you're running the Piper, you really can get him up around 6 or 7, and then you can get a 7 or 8 because look at all these level 1s. Unknown Synchron, I only run 1 of him. He's a lot like Spore to me. I can get him back with Kinka-Byo if I absolutely have to, and I would never really run more than 1, especially since you only use the effect of it once per duel. The 1 Max C that I actually pulled from Storm Ragnarok, first edition, it's pretty nice. Then I got my Sangan, scrub ass card. I only run 3 traps, I only main 3, 2 Solemn Warnings, which really pays off a lot, and then 1 Torrential because I really don't care to lose like 3/4 of this shit. Having it in the graveyard is just as good to me. Any of the level 1s I can get back with Kinka anyways. 2 Creature Swap, there's a lot of people who use this deck who run 3. Trust me, you never want to run 3. You're going to overkill like you would not believe. 1 Econ. The Econ serves 2 purposes. It's better to run 1 Econ than a 3rd Creature Swap. I find it pays off a lot more. Heavy, obviously. Monster Reborn is obvious. Foolish Burial. I can Foolish Burial. I Foolish Burial Treeborn a lot. I Foolish Burial occasionally a Battle Fader, and typically a Mystic Piper. There usually isn't much else. I like to draw Foolish Burial a little bit later on in the game, so that way when I find that I need a light or a dark to get to any of my 4 Chaos monsters, then that can help me out. Pot of Avarice, original Elemental Energy Pot of Avarice. That's sexy, isn't it? Look at that. Allure. I go back and forth with Allure. I sometimes main it, I sometimes side it. With all of the extra darks that I've recently added in, such as Unknown Synchron plus the 2nd DD Crow, it really doesn't hurt to have a little bit of extra plus, but with Mystic Piper you really don't need it all that much. Plus 1 for 1, you know, some people say they'd run 3 if they could legally. I think 1 is more than enough. On to the extra, I've got 2 Galaxy Queens. Galaxy Queen really helps me out a lot. A lot of times what I'll do is Treeborn after a Fader, and then summon another level 1 or Kinka-Byo something else to the field, and then XYZ with it so that my Fader can go to the graveyard and I can have another dark down there.
And what does Galaxy Queen do for the people that don't know?
Galaxy Queen, you can actually detach from her once a turn so that all the monsters you control when you do that can't be destroyed by battle, which is a plus, but on the other hand, I mean, anybody who's got Dark Hole or anything else can get around it. It's really not that hard to get around. Baby Tyragon is in case I need a little bit of extra backup, plus occasionally the ability to attack directly for 900 points can get you game. I've done it 2 or 3 times now, it's kind of absurd. Formula, with all these level 1s, are you shitting me? Armory Arm, you know, just in case I'm sitting on 4 instead of 5. Cat Daddy. Cat Daddy.
Cat. Daddy.
I know, Cat Daddy all day. Hyper Librarian, that's in case I'm sitting on a hand where I can synchro 2 or 3 times, and it happens. Dulorn only happens when I get Treeborn and bases going, but if I do, it's nice to pull out Dulorn. I don't have a lot of continuous in here, you'll note, so typically what I put back is Kinka-Byo, who's going back anyway. Or if I get something up from the graveyard using Kinka-Byo, I can put that back using Dulorn too. Really, Dulorn is in there because I kind of need another level 6. Brionac, or Brionic if you're a moron. Black Rose Dragon, I nuke the field a lot less than you think I would. Arcanite Magician, really useful. Summon it in defense, use it to pop off 2 cards to your opponent's side of the field, amazing. Ancient Sacred Wyvern, I attack for game with this shit all the time, and it pisses people off like you would not believe. It's amazing. 1 Stardust, 1 Dark End Dragon. Dark End Dragon, actually, because its effect it sends instead of destroys, amazing. You can get around so much shit with that, and there's almost nothing they can do besides Valorate. And then, of course, Trish, which, you know, very natural. I rarely get it, but when I do, it's amazing. Typically what happens is I'll get into a BRD, get my Treeborn back, lay down a tuner. It's amazing. In terms of my what I side for this, I have 3 cherries. For the cherries, I dump these 3 when I put them in. It's just to give me a little bit more consistency. 2 Puppet Plant in case I play some asshole who's running 6 Sams. A 3rd Crow just in case I am against somebody who really needs it. A lot of times I'll put it in 3rd Crow against the agents. Smashing Ground for Christia, Leeching the Light for Christia, because fuck Christia. This deck is useless against Christia unless I can get a Caius. Another MST, which I guess would be my only MST since I don't even main one. Soul Release, which is about as pro as you can effing get. Close Forest, play somebody who's doing Dark Worlds, play Close Forest, watch them get really, really pissed at you. Deprison and Mirror Force. I don't run any defensive traps up here, but in case I get somebody who's really aggressive, I like to have that. Debunk, again, that's for the Dark Worlds. And then a Changeless Appearance for, you know, about every other deck out there. That's my shit.